If you're not aware already, there is a Community Day vote going on tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, May 23rd to the 24th, you can vote on Pokemon Go's official Twitter for which one of these 4 candidate Pokemon that you want to be the June Community Day Pokemon. And then the runner-up will be the July Community Day Pokemon. Now, at this stage in the game, I'm pretty sure you guys are already familiar with this and are familiar with the candidates, if you will. And I just wanted to give my 5 cents on the subject to let you have a more informed idea of who to vote for. So let's break it on down, see what the advantages and disadvantages are for each of these Community Day vote Pokemon. Starting out, we got Beedrill. And Beedrill is kind of the most interesting of the bunch because Beedrill doesn't have a shiny yet. We got shiny Caterpie family, we got the shiny Wurmple family already. Where is the shiny Weedle family? Well, I guess it's stuck behind this Community Day, right? On top of that, it's getting the Community Day move Drill Run. And with Drill Run, Beedrill can beat Registeel in Great League PvP, just straight Drill Run. So you can see here on PvPoke, it's a battle simulator for Pokemon Go PvP, highly accurate, definitely recommend checking it out. We got Beedrill here with the Drill Run against the Registeel. And you can see in the 2-shield situation, it's able to beat it straight Drill Run. Now it does come pretty close, you do need to have a little bit of a tanky Beedrill here to overcome the 2-shield situation. That, or you need to bait with at least one X-Scissor or Fell Stinger, so you're able to get that energy advantage to reach that final Drill Run that much sooner. But as far as the 0 shield and the 1 shield are concerned, very clean, very easy wins, just going straight Drill Run on the Registeel. Does Registeel want to gamble with this? I don't think so. That aside, Beedrill is already a pretty good Pokemon for Great League PvP. It can beat the Azumarill, for example. It can beat the Deoxys defense form. It can beat Meganium and many other grass-type Pokemon for that matter. So with the Drill Run, that just gives it a little bit extra flavor. It can now overcome the Registeel, making it a more consistent Great League Pokemon, giving it more plays. On top of that, it also gives it some more plays into other Steel types as well, such as Bastiodon. It doesn't outright beat Bastiodon, but before Bastiodon could completely clown it, Beedrill now has the opportunity to defeat it in a shield advantage situation, or if it's already weakened, etc. So it definitely makes Beedrill a more versatile Pokemon, and if Beedrill wins, and I do expect it to win because it doesn't have a shiny yet, so people are probably just going to vote for it for the shiny, right? Then it'll be a nice Pokemon, nice addition to the Great League. Next Pokemon we got on our list is Gengar, or Ghastly, if you will. We already have shinies of that, we already have event moves of the Gengar, we even have like a party hat shiny Gengar floating out in the world, but now we could also have the special Community Day Shadow Punch Gengar. So one thing that's kind of funny with Shadow Punch Gengar in Great League PvP is that Gengar has basically the same stats as Haunter. I mean, it is slightly more bulky, it's got a little bit more defense than Haunter does, Haunter has a little bit more attack, but from what I can tell in the simulations, it doesn't make or break anything in most battles. Now it does kind of sound like a neg, but Gengar is a little bit more interesting, because it does have different charge moves than Haunter does. I mean, yes, it does have Sludge Bomb, it's got Shadow Ball, now it's going to have Shadow Punch, just like the Haunter, but it also has like Focus Blast and Psychic to work with, making it a little bit more diversified. On top of that, if you do get a really good PvP IV Ghastly, if you don't know about good PvP IVs, I got a nice simple video on that up above and in the description for you to get learned up on PvP IVs. But if you get a good PvP IV Ghastly, right, well then those IV spreads are going to work out more for a Haunter or more for a Shadow Punch Gengar. So there's like, you know, the chance for that Ghastly to become something really good heightens for the Great League. All I'm saying there, your odds of getting the good spread doubled. It's like technically mathematically inaccurate, but doubled. Let's go with that. Then when it comes to the Ultra League, Gengar basically goes from McNothin to really freaking good with the addition of Shadow Punch. Basically, before it had Focus Blast, it had Shadow Ball. Those are both really good aggressive attacks for the Gengar to have to wipe out the majority of the Ultra League, but it didn't have that shield baiting potential that you need on these Glass Cannon Pokemon. I mean, think about Haunter. Haunter is not going to be caught dead without the Shadow Punch, right? And Ultra League Gengar isn't going to want to be caught without it either. So with the Shadow Punch bait in the mix, it can now overcome foes such as the Registeel. In fact, in the 1 shield situation, Gengar even has the potential to overcome Registeel just straight Shadow Punch, which is really nice. On top of that, Gengar can also take down Charm users, no problem. And then when it comes to Giratina Altered Form, it's not exactly a win, right? But if Gengar does have an energy lead, Well, let me just show you here. If you swap in your Gengar, right, and you get 1 Shadow Claw, 2 Shadow Claw, and then they swap to the Giratina, you now have the opportunity to throw a Shadow Punch to bait a shield and have enough energy to get to the next Shadow Ball. Without that swap in extra fast move action happening there, you're not going to have enough energy to reach the Shadow Ball and the Shadow Punch, but the Shadow Punch now gives you that option to shield bait a Giratina, which does improve your ability to take it out. So good job, Gengar. Now, of course, one big problem that this Ghost-type Pokemon might have in a league that's already dominated by a Ghost-type Pokemon is hard Ghost-type counters, such as Snorlax. You can see all these Ghost-type attacks ain't gonna do nothing to this guy. But you could, instead, go with Focus Blast on Gengar, right? And if Snorlax thinks it's a big man, it's gonna come in on Gengar, ruin its day, not shield any of its attacks because why would it? Well, Focus Blast can take it out one hit. That's 242 damage. This guy's got 245 HP, so the extra Shadow Claws, he's dead. He's done. Another Pokemon that does this is Licky Licky, same idea as Snorlax, faints just the same, and then you also have Alolan Muck. Slightly different idea, but also gets one-shotted effectively by the Focus Blast. So Gengar could become a pretty sneaky Pokemon in the Ultra League. And to add, with the Focus Blast, it still beats the Registeel, it still beats Charm users, it still beats a lot of Pokemon in the Ultra League. The one thing that becomes a little bit more dicey is going to be that Giratina Altered Form matchup, because you can't close it out with the Shadow Ball. That said, those Shadow Punches are still going to hurt it, so if you are stuck in that situation, you swap in the Gengar, they swap in Giratina, they don't swap in Snorlax, well, you can at least hurt it. So, with that all said, Gengar is definitely a great option for Ultra League PvP, and definitely a welcomed option for Great League PvP. It may just be a Haunter clone down there, but definitely a good option nonetheless. Also, I know some people have been asking about the Premier Cup. Is Gengar going to be good in the Premier Cup, Master League PvP, but with no Legendary or Mythic Pokemon? And I really don't think it is. As far as elaborating on that further and other matchups that Gengar could have further, I'm just going to wait until Gengar wins or gets second place or whatever. And if Gengar doesn't, well then that's a topic that's not even worth discussing. So, but I don't think it's good for the Premier Cup. Then we got Shadow Claw Sandslash. Sandslash, not very good in PvP. Its typing, its stats, its overall move pool, really not all that good, and Shadow Claw really doesn't do a whole lot to fix it. Now when it comes to Alolan Sandslash, it's the same idea as Powdered Snow, right? But it does do a little bit more damage, and there are a lot of KOs in both the Great League and the Ultra League that Alolan Sandslash misses because it's not getting that little extra damage. So if Alolan Sandslash were to get the Shadow Claw, then it would up its viability that much more. I feel in the Ultra League, Alolan Sandslash already has a lot of plays. It's already a highly viable Pokemon. Shadow Claw would just round it out and make it that much better. When it comes to the Great League, the Shadow Claw will help it KO more things. It will make it more meta than it was before, but I don't think it exactly will be like a top contender, sort of like how Drill Run Beedrill would be with the new attack there. Yeah. That all said, I don't feel like Alolan Sandslash is quite as tantalizing as Beedrill and Gengar are. On top of that, early polling has revealed that Sandslash probably isn't going to be winning this voting event. As a result, if you vote for Sandslash, you're probably just throwing away your vote there, which can be a bad thing because it does potentiate Blastoise winning. By the way, we need to talk about Blastoise. So Blastoise's move that it can get here is Aura Sphere. Now while Blastoise is a really solid Pokemon for both the Ultra League and the Great League, more so the Ultra League than the Great League, I think Blastoise is phenomenal in the Ultra League. It could always use a little bit more extra. What it kind of needs is a better fast move than what it currently has. Water Gun is great, it does a lot of great things, but this guy needs to get to his charge moves a little bit quicker to be that much better. And Aura Sphere ain't that. It's a relatively slow fighting type charge move. Now, Pokemon Go quotes it as being a good move for Registeel, and yeah, Blastoise already beats Registeel. It beats it straight Hydro Cannon. And because Aura Sphere is so slow, it actually does a worse job of beating Registeel with it than it would if it just went straight Hydro Cannon. So, at the end of the day, there's no real redeeming qualities to Aura Sphere Blastoise. That said, it's freaking Blastoise, man. It has the nostalgia factor going for it, and early polling from the Pokemon Go has shown that Squirtle, Blastoise, is quite favorable for this event. As a result, you're going to want to make sure you're voting for Ghastly and Weedle there to reduce the potential for the Squirtle fans to overtake the two good options. And by extension, if you vote for Sandslash, you're kind of basically putting a vote in for the Blastoise there. You know, you're helping Blastoise win because you're not helping the two good guys actually win. You know, it's like voting third party in America, throwing that vote away. And those are basically my thoughts on the voting event here, who you should vote for. My favorite candidate to win here is going to be the Weedle, just because we don't have the shiny already, and it adds some intrigue to the Great League PvP there. Next one I really like is the Gengar. Gengar, adding a lot of variety to the Ultra League. Right now we don't have like a Haunter style type Pokemon, like heavy shield baiting with the heavy attacks. We kind of have that in Snorlax a little bit, but Snorlax isn't as aggressive as Gengar will be, so I think that'd be really fun to play with in Ultra League PvP. And if Gengar ends up losing, I wouldn't mind seeing Alolan Sandlash get the win, just to help smooth out its wins in both the Great League and in the Ultra League. It's already a good Pokemon in the Ultra League, kind of a very okay Pokemon in the Great League. If it were to get the Shadow Claw, I think it would actually be like on the forefront of people's minds, at the very least for the Ultra League. And then when it comes to Blastoise, man, there are some people out there that are hopeful that if Blastoise wins, we'll finally get the Squirtle Squad sunglasses on it, but if Niantic's not promoting the Squirtle Squad sunglasses to try to help this guy get some votes, I don't trust them to actually give it after the fact. That's not how that works. So yeah. Now if you got any questions on this content, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this content, you want to see more like it, maybe you want some more in-depth details on the winners once they win, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support the Swagman on Patreon, make sure to check it out. Yeah.